After the Ball by Marcia. He's an old man, the soldier, far too old for young Poppy, he says, though he likes the look of her. Her heart-shaped face and soft lips. No, the eldest, Hyacinth, will be his bride, the soldier declares, tossing his cloak across the back of a chair. Heather whispers to Rose, noticing the shimmer in the air, the disappearance of a rung. Zinnia tells them to hush, to stop being foolish, for goodness sake. The soldier grins broadly and shakes hands with the king, sealing the deal, though Hyacinth's face is far from elated, partially hidden by the locks she lets fall into her eyes. A ceremony will be held this afternoon, and he'll bed the girl tonight, the king declares, his face flushing with excitement. No queen at his elbow since Poppy's birth to share his joy, his own bed, no son at his side to share his kingdom until this moment. A branch snaps in the darkness and Poppy jumps, clinging to Hyacinth's arm. "Sister," she whispers, "I've never heard such a thing on our journey before." Lily and Delphinia are far ahead, holding hands and laughing, their heads inclined. "It is only our dear sisters brushing against some growth," Hyacinth replies, running her hand down Poppy's back, resting her palm at the base, allowing the heat of her body to infuse her sister's chill. Poppy pulls closer to Hyacinth, sensing something in the dark forest, something that Hyacinth will not acknowledge, but she nods and squeezes her arm around her sister's waist, moving onwards into the night. He's an old man, the soldier, and stands at the altar with a cane, smiling with broken teeth and thinning hair, a new cloak, perhaps one of the king's, around his hunched shoulders. He whispers to the clergyman, telling of how the princesses journey nightly to a castle underground, passing the darkness in each other's arms, spinning and twirling, catching each other about the waist when the dizziness sets in. The soldier speaks with a leer, and the clergyman only smiles, a small frown in his eyes. He holds the Bible in his hand, keeping him steady, watching for the eldest to appear at the doorway with the king. The soldier is proud to have outsmarted the princesses. His chest swells with it. The clergyman sees this, and wonders if the other soldiers, the other princes who tried to solve the mystery, suffered from the same pride, and if it isn't why they lost their heads in the end. He clears his throat. Bavardia rushes to Aster's boat, where the elder sister already has the oars in hand. "Might I dance with you tonight, Aster?" Bavardia asks, breathlessly, gripping the edge of the dinghy. "You and only you?" Her auburn curls tumble over her shoulder as she lifts up her nightgown to climb into the boat. Aster smiles, lifting a hand to help Bavardia in. "I've promised myself to no one else," she says, thinking that these nights are respite from the days, thinking that her sister dances with a lighter step than anyone she knows. He's an old man, the soldier, and his hand shakes when he takes Hyacinth in his own. Her gown is all white, flowing past her feet, sweeping the floor with lace and satin. Her sisters serve as bridesmaids, Lily and Delphinia smirking at the old soldier and whispering to each other about the handsome men they hope to gain for themselves. Aster holds Bavardia's hand, smelling the flowers in her hair. Zinnia gathers Heather and Rose close to her, tightening their bows and touching up their hair. Daisy, Iris, and Gladiola giggle at the absurd notion of marriage. Why anyone would need or want a man when they have days full of court duties, nights of blissful dancing. Poppy, though, wrings her hands and cries. She is quiet, silent even, except for the intermittent sighs and caught breaths. She watches Hyacinth's hand swallowed in the old soldier's, and feels her heart shrink. The water ripples as the boats move slowly, oars dipping. As Daisy and Iris row past Hyacinth and Poppy, they hear a rough gasp from the dipping prow, a sound that they know comes from neither of their mouths. Poppy keeps a steady pace, dropping the oars against the current as Hyacinth crushes her lips against the petal-soft ones of her sister and tangles her hands in Poppy's golden hair. The dinghy rocks, though neither Daisy nor Iris shift more than to move the oars and touch hand to cheek. He's an old man, the soldier, but their father is older still. So the soldier is named heir, husband to Hyacinth, and future ruler of the land, all because he evaded the wine, wrought a magic cloak, and stole treasures from their castle below. He lifts Hyacinth's veil at the clergyman's word and pulls her body to his, claiming her lips for his own. She is stiff and unyielding, like a doll. She won't touch him on her own. The ring weighs heavy on her delicate finger, a monstrous creation handed down through generations of the old soldier's family. She holds her hand vertical, and the ring slips off onto her other palm. Hyacinth crushes it there, wishing it would melt back into liquid, turn into something that doesn't bind her. His lips, she thinks, feel like sandpaper when she longs for nothing more than flower petals. While the girls dance, laugh, feast, he watches, silent. The old soldier sneaks goods under his cloak, snaps branches of diamond and bloom. He watches Poppy and Hyacinth run around the balcony, smiling, then crash into each other with lips and hands and hips. They whisper, "Goodbye, sweet love, until tomorrow night," gasping promises. He retreats to the boat, ready to face the king. The eldest won't be returning, not to this paradise. He's an old man, the soldier, old enough to know his way around a woman, but too old to have his ease. He stares her down on the bed, the nightgown, the same she wore the night before. He undoes her new, fine cloak and asks Hyacinth to tell him about her sister.